on the street and someone threw a stone and he hit his head and he went into coma? What if they've done something to him? What if they've done something to him that the man has become an handicap? What if? And who was the first person that started this rumor of falsehood? Is it not the same Karimo? She could jump on the flight of over 10,000 miles away and she could come to Lagos. But now that she's to say the truth, she could not jump on that same flight. How ironic. She could use strength, vigor, shouting, like a man that his courtroom has been cut off. Or like someone that the hand was cut off. Could easily be shouting like that on social media all this while. But cannot come and shout like that when she's appealing now. Is now going about giving some numb heads 100,000 to share among their gullible followers. She's now appealing to the sentiments and the emotions of murder. Is that what murder is about?
He do give away in a platform now. He do give away. Instead of her to do the right thing, he's doing give away.
Whatever she does.
What is give away?
What she believes is she can use money to buy her way for over 10 minutes. And I don't know. And I don't know why people still continue to come in. And for me, I've said my own. I've said my own. I'm not interested in even this Karimo or anything. As far as I'm concerned, I've read through their testimonies and they've all lied. And because they've all lied, I don't believe any of them.
The great
and my call to police is to restart this investigation. Call them again and drill all of them the way you would drill a suspect to get real information out of them. And that is where I'm going to hold Nigerian police and Nigerian government responsible. As a citizen of Nigeria, I'm not a fan of any Aloba family member. I'm not their fan. They all lied. So they lost that right from me. They all lied. They all took information and don't want to show us information. That for me is okay. Thank you very much.
The great aristocrat, sir, you were shielding the police at a point that you shouldn't be bashing them that they were doing the right
thing. No, let me tell you something. I did not shoot the police. And listen to me. I'm not someone that comes out and blame people wholeheartedly. I don't do that. I balance myself. I always balance myself. And this is my simple thing. I did not shoot the police and you heard the last thing I said.
Yes, I heard you. I understand you. I understand your point. I speak up because of what Supreme Iron Lady played earlier. She played a clip that someone wrote something on Facebook, and the law enforcement agent saw that information, arrested the person, grilled the person so as to get the fact out of that information. There are so many voice notes out there, so many videos out there. I've never had Nigerian police to have got hold of any of these guys, of any of these senders or uploader of all these videos. People saying they saw blood, people saying they knew about the blood, about the death, people calling names, they never made any arrest, they even never laid any charge against them.
Why can't the legal team chase it up for the family? Do you know how many cases police are solving every day? Do you know how many issues police are dealing with every day? You have to see, if you want to carry bucket for head, you have to lift it yourself before police go help you lift them or person go help you lift them. All those voice notices, why can't the legal team compile them together, tie them all together, and show it as evidence to the police to chase up the matter? You see, simplicity is simplicity. There is no big deal. If we talk like this, some people talk saying we are bitter, you are too bitter for speaking the right thing. It's not about covering the police. The same way they are castigating the government. The same government that asked the authority to go and exhume Mohbad because of the outcry in one voice. Now they are blaming them. And you know why? Because they notice that the voice has now broken into so many places. So they don't leave now. However I want to do them, make sure I do them. Simple. It's not a rocket science.
Illuminati, you know what just very quickly.
Okay,
very quickly. I am not supporting the Nigerian police, and I am not advocating on behalf of Nigerian police. Nigerian police can only act on the information they have, and that is based on what everybody wrote in their support or their defense that the police, information that police actually have right now is what the police can put out. So all this comment about supporting Nigerian police, we're not supporting Nigerian police. But think about the people that are seeking justice. Think about 26 people that have gone to the police and given their statement. Think about everybody. Think about their CTC and every aspect of that. The police can only... And the thing is, if the process within Baba's legal team... I mean, you see, if someone can come and tell me that the Nigerian process, the Nigerian system, Nigerian police and Nigerian government is looking for comfy simply because she caused a judge or whatever it is she may have done, and you associate it to bullying a baby and all that kind of stuff. Why can Baba Mohbad's team and his legal team not chase after Karimo and all these nonsensical hints that she's giving and pull her in for questioning through the police? So unless there's a petition and you drag something in, if the police then did not do anything about it, then we know where we're going. Pull Karimo in, petition Karimo, and let her come and say all these things she's hinting from platform to platform, and then the police will act. If the police did then not act, then we know we have a problem. Carry on, guys. Thank you.
Saints, let me just say this thing quickly. I think we need to educate ourselves a little, and let me do this little education. Number one, police, members of the police force in every country, they are like you and I. They go about their regular business. Their job is to protect crime and fight crime. And they can only do all these things with intel. They can gather somebody, public give them more of the information. Now, a member of the public reported a death matter like this case. And in this death matter, they gave them, statements. The key people that came to give this statement. And based on their statements, they started investigation. Though there were time lapse. But police is not God that sees everything and that knows everything. Police need information. From the information they are given, police began to work. And police invited 26 people. And out of the 26 people, they narrow it down to 3 people, I suppose, if I'm right. And they said these are the key suspects, and they had a prime suspect among them. Subsequently, there have been discussions in the public, true and lie, mixing up. People that were not within the vicinity begin to come with cock and bull stories. Do you think police should work with those cock and bull stories? I will say no, because every information must go through certain funnel for them to pick out. Now, police work with information. If you don't report to police, police does not act. So if the people that reported the case have further information to give to police, they are supposed to give it to police undiluted. Undiluted. Give it to police and they work with it. If police do not work, you now call them out. Secondly, these people that reported to police have legal representatives that can we also use their mind, their brain, their experience to find out some information and write a formal letter and send it to the team of investigators. If the team of investigators do not follow it, the lawyer have a judicial procedure to follow to make them to do it by order of the judiciary, compelling them to do it. These are facts on ground. But what has happened in this matter? We rather sensationalize it and turn it to community discussion and say police should act daring. Police do not act on rumor. Police act on facts. Let me also bring something to bear. Look at the case of Arifa. Assuming the king did not write a petition. Many people have made many false statements on the platform that among us, we have come to say, na lie you they talk. They not talk them again. But nobody went to the police to write a petition to want to seek redress. But because the king, through his lawyer, wrote a petition to seek redress, that was why they investigated Arifa's matter. Simple and short. If they have not reported on that matter, it remains sale, because it means you don't see anything wrong with it. Look at the case of Baba and Wunmi. When Wunmi came and said it was Baba that killed his son, he want to kill his grandchild, did Baba seek redress? No, police did not act on it because nobody came to complain. So don't let us pick and choose and blame people. Yes, police have their problem. We all know their problem. But when you know you have a bad judge, for those who read the Bible, there is a place where Jesus said there is a widow who has been cheated by her kinsmen. And there is a rich man who is also a judge. And she always go to meet that judge to say,
assistant,
affect me and avenge. The woman did not say, community, oh, come and see. Oh. She went to make the report. That is the first action you have to do. And even when she get there, the judge did not do anything. But the woman was persistent. This is the God everybody claimed they follow. And this is Jesus, the Son of God, telling them the procedure of getting things done. She lodged the complaint. The judge did not act. Maybe he was busy doing other things, but she was persistent. She sat at his gate and every time cried, avenge my case, avenge my case. Then the judge rose up one day and said, if I do not avenge the case of this woman, people will see me as a bad person because she was persistent, my brother.
Yes.
That is the Bible everybody read. That is the Torah everybody read. But when it comes to our matter of sentiment, we don't want to follow it. You don't want to follow it. You don't want to see that. And it's the same thing with people. There are many cases in front of the police, yes. Your case is there. They might have looked at something. There might be some influence. But you have lawyers. Their job is continuously cry and say, avenge. This is what we want. This is what we want. And they will do it because they have no option. They will say, make we do this walao before they destroy us. How fine has the lawyers of Mr. Joseph Aloba, how far have they gone to avenge? Let me take a simple matter. They want to send letter to the nurse. They came to the public to tell the public the nurse is missing. Which nurse is missing? They can get the address of the nurse from the police. If the police refuse, what are they supposed to do? There are other ways to compel the police to give it to them. They can go back to the court and tell the court. And the magistrate will say, what happened, police? The magistrate will say, police, I command you to give them the address. Simple as ABC. If it was the court that demanded for the police, would they give them? They will. If they are stolen, go back and tell the court and say we want to bring a witness and the police is stonewalling it. These are procedures. It is not have to come to the public and say the nurse is missing when the nurse is not missing. So we should always look at things logically without any form of bias and get things done right. But what have we been doing in this thing? People always defend people when you are not even there when those things happen. You shouldn't defend. You should ask them questions. They will now come and say, what if on this justice for Mohbad, people for a week continue to tell the lawyer, come and tell us how you've compared the police to do investigation of this matter. This thing we talk about, how have you compared the police and show us evidence. If on all platform, no other discussion, and they continue to call those lawyers, leave police for now. They are being controlled, yes, but call your lawyers that you are paying for, that you are contributing for, that you are doing crowdfunding for, and tell them what have you done so far. Who among the hosts of all this so-called truth for justice, as the way they put their nomenclature, have said that? Who are among them? I've called them to say, come and tell us what you've done so far. Who among them? Nobody else. We continue to blame the blamable, the obvious. That is what we continue. Yes, police is always to be blamed. Government is always to be blamed. What about you? That you are paying for services of a professional. How well have they used their professionalism to foster the cause of justice? This should be the question we should be asking ourselves. This is what we should be asking ourselves. And this is how you solve case. And all majority of these people live in the Western world where they claim that is justice and that is equity. Is that how they practice it there? Is that how they are practicing it here? Don't they ask question? If you report a case in police station, does the person that report the case, don't they have open communication with the IPO? Or do they report and just go and sleep? Have the team of lawyers, has the family of Mohbad have an open communication network or channel with the IPO on this case? Have they done that? We need to ask ourselves questions. We, at one time or the other, we've reported cases to police in police station. Do you just report case and leave it there and go and sleep? You don't do that. And in a situation where you know you are in a country where there is unprofessionalism, that is dropping of balls and all that, and you sit home and sleep, and you say police never work, come on, what are we talking about now? What are we talking about? People should begin to think logically and follow things. Then at the end of the day, when we want to blame someone, we will know we are blaming people based on empirical facts, based on things that we have seen, based on evidences of things I've seen, and that is how you will make hold people responsible and accountable. It is not holding people accountable for money spent that is accountability. It is holding people accountable for the duty they ought to do, for the role they are playing, and how they ought to do it well for the benefit of all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, the great aristocrat, for that enlightenment. It actually brightened up my orientation about how to go around things, even my personal things. I appreciate you so much. So, any other person that want to make a conclusion?
You see, well, there is something. Sorry, let me be. There is something we take for granted in life, and sometimes we associate a system to one, and then try and look at the pros and cons. You see, I have lived in England for almost 3 decades now. I haven't really had serious problem with the authorities. I feel safe not because no one is going to come and boggle my house or any other aspect of things for us. That is rife and that goes on as it does anywhere in the world. But I feel safe and I believe in the system. And because there's a system. We have Nigeria. Nigeria is divided in different aspects, tradition, religion, and every aspect of. There is no one system in that country that works, and any system they introduce at any given time is for the benefit of the people that are gonna let's just say the tortoise and the snakes that are gonna swallow the money. So we now have a system that works in a way. But if you want the system to work, it's literally like, say, for instance, you have a family that want to travel from Lagos to Kano, and they have to go by train. And that train, you know, is a locomotive. And you know you have to buy coal. You have to buy the coal and everything ready for the driver and all the personnel on that train to get you to Kano. That is how Nigeria works. If you want the police to work, sometimes you need to kick them off the backside. It is not the right process. But in this case, I still repeat, there is no petition. There's public money. The public money is sitting there, and they are not spending it. And if they are spending it, they are spending it incorrectly. And if they are spending it correctly, they need to get their plight and the driver behind seeking justice right. By now, I believe there should be petitions and mothers and grandfather of all petition. And I know that the public that is funding this process will carry on funding it relentlessly. It doesn't matter how many sands you throw at it. It doesn't matter how many prolific lawyers and prolific adjudicator and lawmakers you throw at it. You see, the thing is, if you are doing the right thing and we are supporting you and we are behind you, as long as you actually be, as aristocrats say, you are transparent. Transparency, accountability. Take it again. It is not about GoFundMe. It's not about Wema Bank. It's not about access account. It's about being accountable. It's about carrying the public with you. You've got nothing to be doing underground. Because in this country, United Kingdom, as it is right now, if something heinous happens out there and they are looking for the perpetrator, they're looking relentlessly, they will keep having a daily brief on national television, on mainstream media. They will keep doing it until they get to the bottom of the case. Why are you now going to come up and wake up one day and say you are working underground? Working underground for who? The underground system that you are charading right now bears absolutely no bounds. It yields no result. Change the narrative, change the tact, change the trick that you've got, and know that unless you carry the public along and unless you issue out this petition where you should, this case is at a standstill right now because we're still following the coroner process, and the inquest is going to go through its own process. And until that inquest itself actually submits its final judgment on the case, and they now decide that it's only 3 people that they're going to take lock up or whatever the case may be. Obviously, they have lawyers too. But if you don't have petitions waiting right now, can anybody tell me what they want the police to do? Do you want the police to walk ahead of the inquest? And for the police to now be the judiciary? For the police to now be the judge? For the Inspector General of Police now to now give you justice? Justice you will seek justice, but the judicial process has a lot of departments. The police department is there. The coroner department is there. The judiciary process is there. The courts in ranks are there until it gets to the highest court. But you cannot take a cockroach to court. You can't take a mice to court. Who you're going to take to court is people that you believe are comparable in this whole process. Now we've not been able to identify anything. The only thing we've got to sit on right now is that when the police look at all the reports they have, they believe narrowing 26 people down to 3, and those 3 people are the people that have a case to answer. And 11 months later, it is still the same 3 people. 11 months later, it doesn't actually seem as if there's light at the end of the tunnel, because we have a tunnel and we think there's a light. Then we're running back because it's a train coming towards us. A train is coming towards us after 11 months. So when we look at that, we still go back to another topic and various discussions we've had in the past. We've had this discussion about Mr. Aloba. We've had this discussion about relinquishing his power of attorney to Muiwa and all that kind of stuff. We've also had a discussion that despite the fact that he's relinquished his power of attorney to Muiwa, he is still the CEO. Now, if he's the CEO, is he a Mickey Mouse CEO? Is it just a mouthpiece? Is it just of an appearance? And he's now mixing this whole process of him being CEO with tradition. He's mixing it with Bible. He's mixing it with church. They've diluted the whole process. They've actually massaged people's brain. They've caressed people's brain. They've brainwashed people to a point where today we are now looking at this process from the point of view of tradition. Then someone will come, Abiyamo, and all of a sudden we're going down the Abiyamo route. All of a sudden, Karimo is charading and doing all the cause for pardon through traditional platform on the Black app. On the Black app, and we're going to go in there. Even some, they will speak Yoruba, even some this. We now turn the whole process into Omoalata and Mama Onikmomo and Baba Eleno and Elegusi and all these palm wine tapa joints. That's where we are. It is only on platform as this that we come and speak English. It is only on this platform that we come and analyze, not just this platform, similar platform, that we will come and analyze things from an English judicial point of view, because we colonized by these people. We should be using sort of like the English law. We should understand the English law. We should read the CTC. We should go into the jurisprudence, the process, every aspect of anything that the country has to give us. It's all written in English. It's not written in Hausa, Yoruba, or Igbo, and we're not translating anything here. Because if you go on a Black app and you are speaking Igbo, you're speaking Yoruba, you're speaking Hausa, you will be on your own. Now on this platform, if Pidgin is a language that we have to speak, it is a universal language almost, that Pidgin, as far as Nigeria is concerned. So this process is at a standstill. We want to blame the Nigerian police. Nigerian police is just one department out of several in the process of actually getting justice. Even the NGOs will come, even the breakers of this world will come into the process and do their own thing until they know that they can't fight the authorities, until they know that they don't want their licenses revoked, until they know that as much as they're advocating on behalf of people and championing sort of like injustice in their own corner, they are not part of the judicial process. You see, so all we need to do is kind of come together again and now say one voice, go back to Baba Mohbad. If it's him directly, if it's Muiwa, if it's Gurexi, if it's the legal team, we are saying to them, what have you done in 11 months? And what do you intend to do in the next 11 days? Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, the IT guy. But there is something I like to put up here. I like to, maybe there could be someone that could shed more light on it. We discussed it on the platform of Susie for Justice, that can't the public come together and have a representative, a legal representation to join in this case and try to do all these facts, all these points being raised that the people we expected to have done it failed to have put into practice. Can there be something of such nature where the court, where the law recognize such approach? And I heard that, I don't know if I true that Bankole has made in the race, and they make some submissions, and the authority were not working towards the thing they submitted, the evidences they put up. So I don't know if it's truth. I don't know if there's anyone that will shed light on this aspect.
From my point of view, from a legal standpoint, it is the state against whoever unjustly bites this guy, right? And then obviously this guy has family. Olori Ebi of the family is Baba Mohbad at the end of the day. So if the public actually have a plight, which originally should have been a foundation, and then the public will have a proper say, despite the fact that they are funding the process. But whatever you want to do at this stage, you still have to go through Baba Mohbad. Baba Mohbad will then point you at Muiwa, and then we'll be at the same place we've been in 11 months. And that's the reason why the public can only fund this process, but without much in terms of voice.
That is so painful. So, if there's any other person that have anything to say, please, you can honorably go ahead.
I have something to say, but I'm driving. I'll be home in 10 minutes. Can I say something, please?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. It's just in support of what you just said. That's the only way out. Good morning, everyone. That's the only way out. The only way out is to push this family aside. Let the public run this case for justice for Mohbad. Because obviously the police settled, like all stations settled. They are compromised, and that's the truth on this matter. And irrespective of the fact that they are compromised, we still have the right to seek justice for Mohbad. It is not in the place of Joseph Aloba to single-handedly seek justice for his son. But it is the place of the public, and it has come this way. We can see that even that family is under a siege. They've been stationed and captured. Joseph Aloba has been captured by, all those that are going about settling stations. It's obvious there's nothing
coming to your word. If you say we should do it publicly, yeah, the public should do it. You understand? Remember those family, they can come in and say, "Is our son? Is he your son?"
That is
so
what
we have the right to do whatever thing.
It is not their son. It is our son. Yeah, that's the mistake.
Let me be. 1 second, Andrea. Let me put this through quickly, okay. Right? If we say all stations settled, right? We should remember that all stations settled already before the government ordered the exhumation of Mohbad.
Yes.
So that is not an excuse. The government ordered the body to be exhumed because of the one voice. So regardless of how many stations they've settled, if the justice has not been personalized to Shibo Motiwani, let us do it. We want to do it.
I'm trying to clarify here that it is a wrong statement to say Omowani. No.
Yeah, that is the point, because Mohbad mentioned that statement that if African TV wants to do it.
I want this thing to be corrected now. A person is a citizen of a country and not one person. Yoruba used to say, because we have a right as a person, you have a right under the Constitution to live. You understand? So if anything happens to your life, it is not the sole responsibility of your family members, not even in their place, to seek justice for you. It is in the place of the police to do that. And if they fail to do that, the mantle falls on the shoulder of the public, not the family. Take for example, if Mohbad does not have a father and a mother, take for example, if he is an orphan, will he not still find justice? What is Joseph Aloba doing in this picture, sir, in the first place? That is what I was saying from the beginning. He is not supposed to come into this picture. If we need information, we'll call him to come and give you evidence. This is the fight of the police. And if the police fail, an NGO, registered NGO who has the objective, with the objective to fight for human rights, will be the one to take charge and fix this problem. Not,
but they have started already now. They already on it.
So naturally, I'm trying to say, if anybody tells you, Omowani, tell them you are sick. Don't say that. This is life that was.
But that is the narrative out there, and that is what. That is the people who feels like we are coming from the Mohbad. Hold on a second. Some people feel like when we say the right thing, we are too bitter.
We are against them.
Which does not. You see, the funny thing is this, yeah? Not be me, be victim of this whole thing. So if I'm speaking my truth, how am I bitter? I'm not bitter. I'm only trying.
You are also wrong for saying this. I'm sorry to say it's not correct. I'm trying to say you are wrong, but I'm trying to say you are not correct by saying no, be you be the victim. We are all victims.
No. Hold on. No. My point is when hold on, Glammy B. When you are submitting, on a platform and they're typing, you are too bitter. What I'm trying to say is this, yeah? I'm not bitter. I'm only speaking the fact. Because, listen, what I'm trying to say, let the truth be told. I am not the victim here. I'm only supporting and trying to make sure the society is the right thing. But when you tell me I am bitter, it does not make sense. How am I bitter? Bitter for what? I could choose not to even say anything and be looking. Now,
I want to say something to what
Glammy, sorry about this. Glammy B and Illuminati. Let's sort of like clarify something. I know you guys have got a little bit of ajibaji based on what is typed on the comment section. Let's put something right. In the case of George Floyd, he appeared obviously as if sort of a foundation took over the process, and although during the court hearing and all the process, we saw the family in the background, but because the foundation is actually taking up the process, then at the end of the day, the parents are there, they don't have to speak, because someone is actually advocating on their behalf. Now, an NGO is not going to do it. An NGO like Brekete has his own foundation, has his own platform, and when he actually believed that his own platform is going to be compromised, he can decide to sort of like stay away. Why? Because his advocacy is kind of separate, and he will reach out to cases that he believes he has the power to handle. And another correction is actually that, first of all, the public may have actually requested for the exhumation of the body, which is rightfully sort of like a right deed to do, which was done. But at the end of the day, if the public wants to be carried along, it is what African TV attempted to inject into the whole process that was rejected. Compromise, because there are other issues in the background, i.e. 70-30, that actually sort of like killed that particular process. Now, if a foundation was there and Baba Mohbad then is in there, it would just be a face, it will not be a voice. It will be the advocacy of the foundation that will sort of like carry on the process and actually seek that justice and challenge the government as much as possible. But the most important thing is, because Mohbad is deported and Mohbad actually has a family, and when he has a family, he has a father and mother that are not together and all that kind of stuff. Someone who that now, from our traditional aspect and our understanding in our country, will be Olori Ebi, who is Baba Mohbad. So the parents definitely will be on the forefront of actually sort of like, justice seeker before the public. So don't say Baba Mohbad should not have been part of the process, and do not say that the public has a process of hijacking any aspect of this, other than putting money into the pot, but without a foundation the public will still not have a voice other than go on social media and say anything you want to say on social media, do anything you want to say on the Black app or any platform. That is the best we can do. And anything you inject, whichever way you want to do it, is still going to be sanctioned by Mr. Aloba. Thank you.
The IT guy, did you say that Berekete, being an NGO, knows fully well that his platform will be compromised? That is why he's not going to take up this matter.
What I'm trying to say to you is, if there is a disharmony in a family, and there is a process where you have a Black app, Berekete is not stupid. He also has a scout on all the social media platforms and is listening to all the disarray that goes on social media. It is difficult for Berekete to now believe that he can actually help this man when even his past his power of attorney to Muiwa. Muiwa may not actually sort of like be an advocate of Berekete. So if there is this unity in Baba Mohbad's camp already, then Berekete will not want to compromise himself. He's not going to go in there to go and settle, fight for Baba Mohbad in his camp. So you see the kind of case they take to Berekete. Berekete hasn't handled a case of this magnitude, and I'm sure he will want to help. But if the people that are actually bringing this request and request for justice to him are actually not speaking through one voice, what do you want Berekete to do?
Okay, now I see that the father of the deceased needs to give power of attorney to an NGO to act. Is that what you're saying?
The power of attorney is clearly redressed at you, the father of the departed, or the main Olori Ebi, yeah, thinking that you are not mentally stable or mentally fit to actually carry on this whole process on your own. You can then hand over the power of attorney either to somebody as it did Muiwa, or you can hand it over to, let's say, a foundation or an NGO and all that, but that is not the case. So going to Berekete is just another avenue to actually see if we can break through to the government. But you've reached out to the government already. But the government wants you to tell the truth. The government wants you to give a truthful account of this whole process, and that is actually even not forthcoming. So what do you want Berekete to do? If I go to a lawyer and I've committed an offense and I'm open to my lawyer,
it is not what is happening really, because we did not attend the meeting between Berekete and Baba Mohbad. And
it is clear that Berekete doesn't want to absorb the case. He doesn't want to absorb the case in its entirety. He doesn't want to compromise himself. Whichever reason or not, Muiwa still remain Baba's attorney.
And I am saying that power of attorney, is it registered power of attorney or something under duress?
It's by law. Listen. Stop saying under duress. When this guy relinquished, hold on. When Baba Mohbad, it's by law. It is literally sort of like a document. It's a statement you make. It can be altered. You can even put percentage on the power that you give Muiwa. You can give Muiwa 30% and you can give 30%.
It could be a verbal.
No. It is the legal process. It is not a verbal process. It is a documented process. And it is amendable. It is, hold on. It is amendable at any given time. You can still go back as the same man and say, okay, I give 30% to Muiwa. I want to give 30% to Berekete. And I want to remain with the rest of it. Yes, and it can take it back and actually now tell the world that he's going to absorb it and deal with the public directly by himself.
Let us assume he is an orphan. Where do we start from?
Yeah, if he's an orphan, if Mohbad was an orphan, what African TV came up with probably would have worked. One, a number of people can actually reach out to the public, and the public can actually have a look at aspect of what individual, let's say, foundation actually have to offer, and then the public can decide we want to support this foundation. But whatever the case may be, even if that person is an orphan, there is still an avenue for a foundation to come up and take the case. Perhaps the foundation is a foundation that is known to have absorbed that kind of case, to have solved several in the past, and the public will then support that foundation, and then they put their money into it. And the foundation, then we have his lawyer, the foundation, we have their spokespeople, then we have their PA and every aspect of things, but the public will not be allowed to meddle into that process as it has happened during this whole process with Baba Mohbad. Legal team disbanded, another team coming up, this team coming up, and all that kind of stuff. So everything will still follow process, but because they departed, obviously have a living sort of like a family, and the Olori Ebi of the family is the one that the judicial process, the authority and the police and every system we have in Nigeria recognize. Hence, Baba Mohbad then becomes the forefront of the quest for justice, in whichever way he then actually holds the power of attorney to immerse himself into it 100% or seek support where applicable.
All this one, to me, does not work that way. Let me tell you what I know. Now you see, in this kind of chaos, I see that chaos coming from the angle that this man, the deceased, has a family that is, how will I put it, a family that is not together. Now, for him to be unfortunate to come from that kind of family, I see him to be the same as somebody who is an orphan. So now if we get NGO that truly wants to do this cause, does not need to even ask for power of attorney from any family member that is not together. It is all a scam to give a power of attorney to somebody who is not in Nigeria and say he is the one that will fight justice for your son. He's sitting somewhere in America. I mean, it is a scam. You see, all stations settled. It's not a statement that is said out of.
We have a constitution. We have a constitution in Nigeria, and we have a legal process. No. The guy is not an orphan. We cannot class him as an. No, it's fine. But what I'm saying is, we cannot class him as an orphan.
I will class him as an orphan because to him the father is not fathering in this case. The father is not fathering in this case, so I can't see him fathering anything here. So I see that he's like he has no family. Family is not family. You just use my words like that. The legal team is not teaming anything. So nothing is working. So now we want to really fight justice for Mohbad. We need a NGO that will do this, and they don't have to get any consent of the family to fight to see the reason why this life was taken away unjustly. That is my opinion. And if Berekete really wants to do it, he can do it without asking Baba Mohbad to come over. We pack everybody together as suspects, even the Baba, even the wife. All the cockroaches in the house, we are all suspects. Now this NGO will stand and face the police and say, police, you are being paid by taxpayers' money. You refuse to work because all stations settled. Now you have to do the job. By force, by fire, we will hold you accountable. We will ensure that you do that work. Do that work. Return every settlement you've collected from whoever is the godfather or underneath doing evil in this case. That is the work of a true NGO that has no fear. Because you said it at Berekete's platform. He knows his platform to do it. But we know one true NGO can truly do this without getting consent from Baba Mohbad. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Can I add something quickly?
Okay, Mr.
You see, when we look into the process of law, number one, let's lay the facts here. Mohbad is not an orphan. He has a family. Even if he was an orphan, he has a wife, an existing family. Now, the only reason why his wife could not take full charge is their type of marriage, because it's a customary marriage. And under customary marriage, you follow the traditional law. It wasn't a marriage under the act, as it were, where the wife is seen to be the main person that takes charge of things. Now, let's come back to the case. This case is a case of the state against the suspects. It's like any other felony matter. The state is the one prosecuting it and not the family. However, the family is the complainant. And because it's an homicide case, it is deemed to be a state matter. that is so, NGOs, under the law, when NGOs have right to come into this matter to advocate, I will always use this very salient example, the case of George Floyd in America. The case of George Floyd in America, you find out that many NGOs came together to fight that matter, and it became a global matter. At the end of the day, when the matter went to court, the family had a lawyer. The NGOs are also there, but it was principally prosecuted by the state against the police. Now, because it is principally prosecuted by the state against the police, the NGO lawyers, every other person, are going to queue behind the state. It will have been a different thing. Let's look at the case of Wunmi. The case of Wunmi's mother, which happened in Oyo State, the Oyo State government gave the NGO a fiat to act on his behalf, and that is that man's NGO, and Barrister Falana was the lawyer. They won the case. In that case, it was so plain because the family were together, and the state see that the NGO can handle the case on his behalf. What is a fiat? Just like power of Anthony, act on my behalf for the state. If that was the case, let's come back to that of Mohbad. In that of Mohbad, the people who made up the state did a protest and demanded for the government to exhume the body to investigate it. Don't forget, the family never reported the matter as a criminal matter. It was after it was exhumed that police came into it and they invited the family, and the head of the family under the customary law, which is the father of the deceased, and the wife were the principal people that made the report to the police. An investigation commenced. Now, the state, the NGOs can only come in this matter if, one, the family goes to an NGO, just like in the case of Bamishe, and say, this is happening, the NGO can front for them. Then they are under the NGO. Then they will have given their power of attorney to that NGO, say this NGO will front for us as a family. But in this case, it's not like that. The family had consulted a lawyer before, but the father of the deceased moved away and got his own lawyer. Therefore, fiat will not come to bear in this case because you now have two parties. Which party will the state give a fiat to? The state has to prosecute it. The matter has gone to an inquest, a coroner inquest, which is a judicial investigation into a murder case. Now, the public, under the act that set up the coroner inquest, you and I can go to the coroner. We can testify as an individual. We can also organize ourselves under an NGO. That is where NGO comes in this case. And since it's like this, NGO can then go ahead and say, we will take this matter on to the criminal court. However, NGO is not the one prosecuting the matter. They will be acting just like George Floyd's matter behind the state prosecutor. Now, it is also in the interest of the family to cooperate with NGOs who are acting on behalf of the public, and the public will be divided into many.